Well, that was not the opening that we were looking for. I don't know what just happened, but that was not it. You know what? I think we need to try it again. Let's do
try
a
it again.
restart. Okay? All right. Let's do it again. And that was not it either. Did you see any video on that?
It was a video. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
There was
I
no
still
video.
hear it, though. Oh, it's because I had my Facebook.
So there was a video when I played that because all I could see was our background. There was no video.
No, I got the video.
Wonderful.
This sometimes is a
great
sign
start.
of how this live might go.
This life could go any direction. Any direction, you know?
You know, the positive part of all this is that I'm in the green, which means I have internet for now.
You know, you did a hard restart, and that seems to be our fix. Is when you do a hard restart. So,
yes. Hey, Coach.
Yeah. Hey. Ha. So, should we tell the audience what we did last week on our live, in our evening live?
I mean, if they were there, they know.
You know. But what you don't know was that was not the right show to be playing. First of all, I entitled it Oprah's Cash Cow. So we were gonna talk about, we're just gonna do a rerun of our live on, you know, what we feel about the weight loss shot and Oprah's show, and I was gonna do a rerun on that. So it wasn't even that show that was playing live. But here's the thing that our audience probably doesn't know. When we go to the studio to record a podcast, we kind of, you know, it's a little casual because you're not going to see our faces. You're only going to hear our voices.
Yeah.
So from now on, I'm going to be on point. When we do our podcast recording, I'm going to be on. I'm going to pretend like we have a live audience.
You're going to look at me instead of
look
like rolling your eyes.
Looking out here.
Like, is she done yet? She keeps babbling on about this nonsense.
So we played the wrong show is what we did. And so you got to see what happens in the studio. So I think I only itched my nose, you know, one or two times.
I scratched my head. Usually when it's time to wash my hair. And now you guys are going to know when I scratch my head, it means I need to wash my hair. I scratched my head because it's ready to be washed. And then you know, we pick at our eyes a lot.
Well, the thing of it is when we cut a podcast, there's more pressure. When we're just talking to our friends now, right? So it's like we're just having a chat with our friends. And I just got back for them, so we don't even come dressed, you know, dressed nicely. We don't even come, you know. although, do you see my shirt?
I can't with you. I can't because I'm bitter about it still. Well, I'm very bitter. And a lot of people that had a lot of money on that are bitter about it too. I didn't have money on it, but I had bragging rights, and I no longer have bragging rights.
I would have won both ways because I was cheering for Purdue last night, but I got this shirt at Goodwill, and I got it. I didn't even know what Encore was. I didn't even know. I just got it because I like the neckline and I liked the dog on here. And this is a Nike. I knew that. So I'm wearing this at the gym a couple weeks ago, and they're like, well, I like your shirt, Monica. Well, thanks. I got it at Goodwill. Well, it just was yesterday that I realized what it was.
You better hold on to that shirt. It's worth money now.
I like it now. But I was cheering for Purdue. I was not heart divided last night. I was not.
They call that flip-floppers. I feel like there was a president runny that was called a flip-flopper. Kerry. That was his name.
Yeah.
Remember that? He's
Yeah.
called. That's where that term came from.
I
Is a
remember
flip
it.
flopper. It's
I
from
remember
him.
it. Hey, guys, have you found our podcast yet? I just linked us right up there. If you watch us on or listen to us on Apple, if you listen to us on Spotify, those links are right there ready to go. And we have got some really good podcasts coming out.
Yes.
Especially something went wrong. Try reloading the page. I don't want to try reloading the page because I think I'll lose you.
What are we
I
trying to
don't know.
reload?
It just said something went wrong on our tech side here.
Well, I
so.
still see us
Okay.
on
All
live.
right.
On
Yeah.
one of them, at least.
Yeah. So we've got some really great podcasts. We had one drop this morning. We have had a lot of requests for please talk about insulin resistance. And so that's the one that dropped this morning. So head over to Apple, head over to Spotify, and grab those links here that I'm going to post in here again, because that's what they did take away when I did this. So what are we going to talk about today, Coach?
Oh, ahead of all the other things, I think what we're talking about. Well, I know you had something to say about something, but I think what initially has been on my mind is what do we do, you and me?
Yeah.
What do we do when we get into that pit of despair?
Mm-hmm.
Into the yuck. Into
yuck.
I like to call it sloth mode.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a sloth.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, and emotionally. And we have to, as coaches, we have to be not that.
Well, we don't have the luxury because we're carrying about 43 people on our shoulders right now, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be on point at all times. However, it's not a matter of if people hit that sloth slump, the discouraging, the sloth slump. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And it depends on what their response to that is, if they're successful or not. I don't know. Did you happen to go to my Facebook page today? We have to celebrate one of my clients. She gave me permission to post her picture.
I didn't see it on your Facebook page, but I saw it on our group page.
54 pounds.
That is
This
awesome.
woman has done the things. She's not complained. She's not stepped away from tracking. She's not stepped away from her lifestyle. She's changed her life, and she is feeling amazing. She said 54 pounds are like, oh, well. She said, I feel so amazing. And that's why we're keto coaches. You can lose weight any way you want. It's calorie deficit, right?
Yeah.
But even Tina has hit, those points where she has just felt slumpy. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to track anymore. I don't want to go to the gym again. I don't want to. I'm just tired. Why can everybody else eat whatever they want and I can't,
Right.
And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
And, and I feel like I've recently hit that. And I took a step of the tools that we provide our clients. And I used one of them today.
Okay. What was that?
And that was to put my stinking workout clothes on.
Oh,
and my shoes, and made a time of when I'm going to attempt to get there.
Put a plan in place.
And I put a plan in place. And because I know that Friday's to come, and I help volunteer at a gym to sign people in for workout. And I have not been working out, and it's been a while. And I'm like, if I go there Friday and I need to work out, I'm gonna hurt. So I need to ease into this again and get my muscles starting to flow again. But let me be honest with you. I like the gloomy clouds make you just feel yuck. The cold just makes me feel yuck. It the mundane days sometimes just make me feel yuck. And so we have to do a lot of things in order to resist that, to reverse that, and yes, it's okay if you sit in that for a little bit. I think it's okay.
Wrong with that.
But for me, you talk about get your tennis shoes on. And I got my tennis shoes on. They might not be my workout tennis shoes, but I sure got my tennis shoes on. And I plan on going, and I'm not going to push myself so hard at the gym that I am so sore that I can't move the next day. I'm going to ease into it and do light weights, because I know I'm not going to be able to lift what I lifted, a month ago.
Well, just
Um,
just you going to the gym itself is the act. When you get there,
mhm.
you can. I wouldn't care if you just got on the treadmill and just walked a normal pace, checking your emails, doing your macros. At least you're there, and
Yeah.
that gets those dopamine receptors going, because when you do work out, it does get those things flowing, and
Yeah.
it makes you energized. It
Mhm.
gives you that push that you need. But half the battle is just getting out the door.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And, I have all the excuses under the book,
Mm-hmm.
like under the book or in the book? In the book,
And
not under.
yeah.
Because sometimes it's so full, it's under the book
Yeah,
because
it
of
could
all
be
those
under the
sticky
book.
notes. But my kids, that's a big excuse. Like I
Mm-hmm.
could be like, summer's coming up too, and they're going to be home. So you
Mm-hmm.
might on a live hear my kids,
Yeah, might happen.
yelling at each other, and
Yeah.
it's just going to happen, and I'll just have to deal with it. But I also struggle getting to the gym when they're home too,
Uh-huh.
because you have to schedule time for that.
Yes.
Um, so there's just a lot in play.
Yeah.
But that can I tell you about my apple tree
Yes.
analogy, because it kind of flows into that a little bit. So I was thinking about how an apple tree is grown, and I think it's a lot of fruit bearing trees.
Mm-hmm.
When there's you go to an apple orchard and you see those giant, for one, these giant apples are genetically modified, and they're like
Mm-hmm.
made to be big and plump. But there's also a method behind that madness to create a delicious apple.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want that delicious apple in life. I mean, we're gonna parallel our life to this apple tree. And I want you to imagine this, right?
Okay.
So as you are thinking of what it takes to grow an apple,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to have, obviously it comes from the apple tree.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just plant an apple tree anywhere and expect it to grow like an apple tree should.
Right.
You've got to, think about where the proper place it is needs to be to grow. You
Mm-hmm.
need to, you need to have a good fertile soil. You need to,
Don't you need
um,
a male tree and a female tree? Don't you need to plant them close to each other?
I think that is a thing because of
I think.
pollination. I
Yeah.
think that happens. But that's going a little bit more in depth than,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless that
No,
fits
no.
my
I just know
analogy.
that's what my husband said. We had to have 5 fruit trees in our
Yeah,
backyard because they
I think I have
cannot.
friends.
They have to breed, apparently. I know that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So then what you also have to do to maintain this tree is you have to give it plenty of sunlight, obviously enough water,
Mm-hmm.
not too much water, well drained. But the first thing you have to do in the springtime is something very important. Or is it in the fall? I think it's in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
After the tree has done its thing, you prune it, right?
Yes. Right.
But it's easy to forget to prune a tree because it's a lot of work. Some people don't really know how to prune one of those trees,
Mm-hmm.
so they just let the branches grow. And yeah, you're going to get apples still the next year if you
Mm-hmm.
don't
They're just
prune
not
it.
right.
But as those branches are growing, it's taking the nutrients from the thing that you're trying to create is a nice, proper, amazing apple, like a
Mm-hmm.
good product, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in thinking of this, how do we in life, we tend to kind of forget to prune our apple tree,
Mm-hmm.
forget to prune the things in our life that are going on in our life.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So what
that's when our clients say, "Oh, I'm not doing very good right now."
right. And they're producing fruit,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're not producing the fruit that they could,
Right.
right?
They may be just maintaining their weight,
Mhm.
you know?
Yep. Yep.
And that's okay for a season, right?
For a
To
season,
just
but if you keep doing that season after season,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have way too many branches.
Right.
You're gonna have too many, like it sucks the life out of the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna have, you look at a tree that has like every single fruit, for a tree that has been tended to
Mm-hmm.
properly has an equal amount of fruit. They have the same size,
Mm-hmm.
different shapes sometimes in different locations, but it's a proper amount. It's the most delicious fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's delightful.
And
Versus
sometimes when you prune the tree, it looks really ugly.
it
You're
does,
like, you're gonna kill that thing.
yeah.
At least the
But
way my husband does it. I'm like, is that tree gonna come back in the spring? And it always does
right,
beautifully.
Yes. But it's being able to, like, all the nutrients in the ground, all,
Mm-hmm.
the tree's supposed to be able to do what the tree's supposed to do
Yeah.
to the specific branches. So the moral of this story, and this is kind of why I bring this up, because even as coaches, we can forget to prune those trees,
Mm-hmm.
or we keep adding things onto our plate and we get overwhelmed where we're neglecting certain branches that are bearing the fruit,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not getting the nutrients to them. They're not growing
Mm-hmm.
properly. So we're constantly needing to balance that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was a reminder for me that I need to make sure that I am pruning those branches that are unnecessary
Mm-hmm.
and that are just sucking the life out and just producing maybe a blossom,
Yeah.
maybe a tiny little crab apple size apple. But you need to make
Well.
sure that you are pruning those branches that are unnecessary. It's just like a
Mm-hmm.
tomato plant too. Those little they're called suckers because they're
Mm-hmm.
sucking the nutrient out of the branch that's producing the tomato. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have a more voluptuous tomato if you take those things off
Right.
or things.
Right. And
I mean,
and to your point as well, you're in maintenance. And
yeah,
so this doesn't end when you lose the weight. That is a mistake so many people make is they think when I lose this weight, it'll be over.
right.
It's just starting when you lose the
Mm-hmm.
weight. Our
Yeah.
our amazing Tina has lost 54 pounds. She's about halfway through her journey right now. When she gets to her goal weight, we start an entire different program with her because she's going to have to get different tools out now.
Mm-hmm.
And but the problem is when you get to that stage, you're feeling so good. You're not feeling that desperation of needing to lose weight. And so you get lazy. When you get in maintenance, that's why you gain the weight back every time
Yeah.
because you get lazy and you go back to your old ways.
Right. Right.
So,
So, and to bring it all back around into what we were kind of going to chit chat about of what do we do as coaches to prune that tree
mm-hmm.
when we have forgotten to do that.
Yeah.
It's not too late, and we're not an actual apple tree where if you prune it at a certain time during the season, like that's
Yeah.
not a good time. There's any
That's
time
all
is
the
a
time
good
for us.
time. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
anytime. So when we get overwhelmed with like all the research that we do, like what do we
Mm-hmm.
do? Or when we are in a season of, we do get into seasons where we are constantly feeling like we can't stop eating. Like there's like
Mm-hmm.
that hunger that's constantly there, or I don't know, what's another thought of.
Yeah. So what I do and I've just put this into my daily habits, and I took this from James Clear's book Atomic Habits when I wanted to build because I would always do this. I'm like, oh, I forgot to take my vitamins. Forgot. And so I decided after we put our anti-anxiety formula together that we give our clients, and because it works, you put nutrition in your body. You feed your body the vitamin D that it needs, the vitamin K, the ashwagandha, the magnesium glycinate. You feed your body that. That's like the foundation of your breath. It's the foundation of my energy. If I am stressed and anxious and completely stressed out every day, that impacts my weight loss. That impacts my maintenance. If I can keep my stress under control with this anti-anxiety formula, you can go to Walgreens and get these things, right?
Yeah.
But the problem was I kept forgetting to take my vitamins. Well, put James Clear's principle of habit stacking together. So I put my vitamins, my anti-anxiety formula right next to my coffee. I have not forgotten those things one day. And that's my foundation is my nutrients, my supplements that I put in my system. I personally use there's a whole handful.
I was gonna say, you
So,
gonna really
let me
name
look
all
at my
of them?
hand here. My favorite, and I just found this on TikTok, and I know there is a company. I'll have to find the company because I don't like to buy from TikTok, but I found the company. It's vitamin D 3 plus K2, which you need K2 in order to activate the D, which is your happy hormone. That's the sunshine hormone.
Yes.
It's calming. It takes away the cravings. All of those things. It's the most wonderful thing. But it comes in 300 pills, which I was totally excited. And it's made with coconut oil. Amazing.
Yeah.
I'll find that. I think I'm going to find that and do some more research on the company. But I take my vitamin D3 plus K2, magnesium glycinate, magnesium citrate. I take ashwagandha. I take, what's the other one I take? I take holy basil too. And I think that really does help just with stress alone. So supplements are my foundation. That's what I do. And that gets me to the gym. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I do feel
Right.
better after I take these. And I can tell when I don't take them.
Right. So supplements are important.
Speaking of supplements, can I put my
Yes.
tag in? I just got this email and I'm intrigued by it because one of the things that people say about the ketogenic lifestyles, oh, you guys don't get enough potassium because you can't have bananas, you can't have potatoes, and they say, well, here's the real reason why people are not. It has nothing to do with food. It has everything to do with food. We eat things in wrappers. Wrappers have no potassium. The convenience food, the ultra processed food has no potassium. If you don't have enough potassium, which by the way is 2,600 milligrams for women, 3,400 milligrams a day for men. If you don't have enough potassium, you're going to struggle with high blood pressure, kidney stones, kidney disease. And when you have enough potassium, it's also an insulin controller. It's a glycemic index controller. So potassium is a really, really big deal that we don't have enough of because we eat ultra processed foods. Not because the keto. Did you know there's more potassium in an avocado than there is a banana?
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't give me that. You can't have a banana. I choose not to have a banana because of the sugar in it, but I'm going to eat a avocado, right?
Yeah. So Mark, when he laughs at me when I talk. He used to laugh at me when I said, "Did you take your vitamins?"
Mm-hmm.
Because he can tell when he does not take his vitamins, which has the potassium he needs.
Yeah.
He cramps up. He has so many leg cramps.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is his number one nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cramps of his hands, they'll lock up, things like that. And I ask him like, "Well, did you have your vitamins today?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, no."
Yeah. One
And
thing
so
I'm
no, he'll take
wondering,
it.
because the cramps, that's the first thing when we have a client who says they have cramps, that's the first thing we say is you're not getting enough potassium. But one thing I read about potassium that if you're not eating enough potassium, your body's going to take it. It's going to make its own. It's going to make that 2,600, but it's going to pull it from the bones. And there are some times when I feel like, when you were growing up, you had those leg just growing pains.
Yes.
Like it felt like it was inside your bones. And I half wonder, I don't know if that's the truth, but I half wonder, is it pulling it from my bones? So you and I take LMNT, and there's 200 milligrams of potassium in LMNT. We do a couple of those packets a day. So if you have struggles getting your magnesium, potassium, electrolytes, all of those, LMNT is your go-to. And that's where we get some of our supplements of potassium. But then also we do get our greens, we get our dark greens, we get, the avocados, all of those things. So,
yes.
And we don't eat processed food.
Right.
It's gone.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other thing that those vitamins are doing for you for those days, like when there is no sun, like we got plenty of sun yesterday, but when you don't get that natural vitamin D, that is like an energy killer. Like I feel like my eyes are heavy. They're just kind of weighted. So the importance of having those supplements, that is the only thing I think that, because we don't like sell our clients things. We just, we teach them the things, but we also give them these tools of like, hey, like these are the products that if you are to invest in, these are the ones to get.
Because we've tried them.
Yes. And supplements are pretty much like almost mandatory because our plants are so depleted in all of those minerals that we would, because people like, well, why don't you just eating the fruits and vegetables that you should be eating, because you should have plenty of that. Well, listen, George, it's not going to be like that. I changed it from Linda to George. I say that a lot.
Linda.
So just listen, like our farmers, and with the pesticides and our depletion in our grounds, like it's legit. We're missing that magnesium. That's another one that we are very depleted in. So, just
Yeah.
taking these extra supplements, and that's exactly what they are. They're not going to be a cure
Mm-hmm.
for your ailments. They
Right.
are a supplement to
Yeah.
help you boost other things that you're supposed to be doing with your lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what a listener, Donna, I'm going to post her comment here. She's carnivore, and there's a misnomer out there that you have to have veggies, that you have to
Mm,
have those, and it's a big battle out there right now with
it
between the
is.
doctors, and our bodies are going to get this no matter what. And I have heard amazing things about carnivore, and the fact that you can get these things through other sources. So she says she takes a supplement, but always takes cod liver oil
Mm,
because she can't find vitamin D. That's not a factor. So yeah, it's 100% true. Your body's
yeah.
going to find it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
St. John's wort is an amazing. I love St. John's wort.
Yeah.
I do take that one as well.
I love for because we're in the garden. I'm in the gardening mode. That's why the apples and all that stuff is on the top of my
Uh
mind.
huh.
But I definitely try to make sure that I'm planting those types of
Hmm.
herbs in my yard. So just in case, what they say, I don't the economy goes and
Yeah,
plummets. Like
you're a
I'm gonna,
homesteader.
I'm gonna be a homesteader with my herbs.
Speaking of carnivore, you know what really makes me nervous, and I really want to find this out. Are you watching the lab created meat right now?
Mm,
I mean, I'm so
yeah.
glad we live in Amish territory that we can go get. We know. I want to look my cow in the eyeballs because I keep seeing this. I don't know if it's true or not. I want to find out. But these lab created
It is
meats that are
legit.
like stringy that
Mm-hmm.
are coming from all these, well, everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to know that my cow was breathing at one point.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That was a side
legit.
note.
No, it's disgusting. That
It's
is
horrible.
what we are looking at. Talk about processed, and you don't even know if it's processed because it's already prepackaged,
Right.
and you're expecting it to just like, oh, this just came from a chicken. No,
Yeah.
no, it didn't. Do
Yeah.
they have to label it?
What I want from our lawmakers is I want truth in packaging. I
Yeah,
want to know that it's stamped on there lab created. I want to know maltodextrin sugar. I want truth in
yeah.
labeling.
I
That would
remember.
fix a lot.
I remember, the years I was in the I'm still kind of in the cuckoo world of genetically
Mhm.
modified things and having heirloom vegetables and
Yeah.
fruits. But how hardcore those activists tried to get things labeled, and it
Mhm.
works. So
Yeah.
if we join together
Mhm.
and we voice our opinions
Yep.
and say, hey,
And
let's label all this stuff because we have the right to
yeah.
know what
Right.
it
And if you
is.
want to eat lab meat, that's great. Go for
Yeah,
it. You do you. But I want
yeah,
to know what I'm eating is right.
yeah.
So I go to the Amish, I go to the farms, and
Yes.
that's how I do it right now. So is there anything else that you do when you get kind of in a slump? Or think about, because we're in a different season, think about some of our clients. Is there anything that we encourage them to do when they get into a slump? They just get bored.
Yeah. So, and that's boredom is the word. Like when they get bored, then
Mm-hmm.
that's when this coach comes out and not only says, "Hey, if you're bored, you get to group and they'll inspire you."
Oh, yeah.
That's like number one go to.
Yeah.
And the second one is, and a lot of my clients don't like it, but I always
Journaling.
encourage. Yes, I always encourage the journaling because they're like, well, I don't know what to write. Well, once you start to write, then you get to start to be inspired, and then or what is something that maybe you want to work on and push yourself more towards.
Right. Right.
And so, yeah, that's what one of the things that I've been doing.
Yeah.
I get myself a nice, cute little journal. Mine's a big journal actually, but a
Mm-hmm.
journal, and I just start writing,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps me shake things out. It helps me get it out of my head because I can get real mopey and emotional and be like, oh, woe is me, life is so hard, and
Yeah.
then I get it out on a piece of paper. I'm like, actually, you know what? Remember,
Isn't this so big?
4 years ago when you were
Mm-hmm.
really depressed and you were really hard on yourself and you had no hope, and then all of a sudden you got like this safety net of this lifestyle, and then you should just like go back to those feelings, and
Right.
you can easily go back to those feelings of being like what I used to
Mm-hmm.
where I am now. And yeah, I get in a slump because I'm not where I want to be fast enough. I'm
Right.
not where I think I should be, but
Yeah. Well, and
That's
like
a hard
last
thing.
night, in group last night, we talked a little bit about how to silence food noise. And we were talking about the steps and silencing those, those things that just poke at us all day long. Um, One of the things we talked about was mindfulness. And when you know why you're feeling these things, and this goes with the journaling as well, it goes with eating as well. When you know why this food made you feel this way, or you know why you're feeling these things,
Yeah.
then you can put action and you can put a plan together. Some of our people don't know why they're frustrated. They don't know why they're in a slump. And so so they blame the food, or they blame, the fact that the scale's not moving, and they send that blame into the wrong place,
Yeah.
where the real fact of the matter is, I'm just bored with the food, and I've gotten lazy, and I'm not cooking, or I'm not creating new recipes, or maybe I'm just eating too heavy. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm just eating. Maybe it's time for me to pull out the berries instead of just doing meat, or just doing, maybe it's just I need to and even carnivore. I have seen now really great ways to spice up the carnivore lifestyle, so you don't just
Yeah.
have to have a steak.
Right.
And everybody has different levels of, being carnivore, but you can just do something different to shake things up a little bit. You're
Right.
feeling a little heavy, that scale's not moving, throw in some light salads, throw in some berries. You're
Yeah.
getting a little too loosey-goosey over here, go over to carnivore, right?
Yeah.
So it's just changing things.
Yeah.
You don't
And
have to stay the same.
a non food approach could be do something different with yourself. Like, for example, I've been thinking about cutting this off. I'm not. I'm not going to do it yet, but I'm
Wow.
sure
Yeah.
a huge, like,
Yeah.
if you have been dressing the same for years, if you
Mm-hmm.
have been doing the same hairstyle for
Mm-hmm.
years, if you've been wearing the same makeup for years,
Yeah.
if you don't wear any of those because you might be a man, like
Yeah.
something like that, wear
Do
something
something
different. Do
different.
something different that gets you out of your comfort zone, saying, "Oh, I could never do
Put
that."
some red lipstick on
Put some
today,
red
ladies.
lipstick on, like, or brown, like whichever
Yeah.
color you want to wear, but just doing something out of the norm.
Get out of your
That,
box.
yes, that is going to push you outside and it might be scary at first. You might be a little bit like, I don't know if I can do this, but trust me, you can.
Yeah, totally.
Use those power words.
And
like,
maybe
I
you'll
can do
try
that.
it for a little bit and you're like, okay, that's not me, but I tried it. That's good. It just gets you out of the mundane.
Yep.
And now spring is here. And so that's another thing that's going to naturally take you out of that funk.
Yes.
Right?
So true. Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
What are the things, if you're listening to us, what are some of the things that you do to get out of your funk? Vonda says she tries not to eat the same thing every day.
Yeah.
So true. So
It's
true.
so easy to do, especially when you have leftovers.
Yeah. It's really hard for me.
Yeah.
I'm such a same old. But yesterday I made keto chicken nuggets. They were amazing.
Oh.
So yeah.
Do we have any questions?
Any questions? Yeah. We are here for it all.
Mm-hmm.
We're here every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock. Some days we go an hour. Some days we go a half hour.
Yeah.
But we also do a live encore on our podcast
We do.
every Thursday morning that comes out. Every Tuesday morning, a new podcast comes out. Again, this week we are talking about insulin resistance.
Ooh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody says
yes,
reaching out
good
to
job.
friends.
Friends are so good
They are.
most of the time, unless they take you down the wrong path.
Yeah.
And you might need to find some new friends. But
Are you talking about your friends?
no, I love my friends.
That's true. Just
Meeting new
getting
people.
out
Yeah.
of the same old.
Yep. Absolutely.
Sometimes we are just an introvert. Introverts really struggle.
Oh yeah.
Did
you know? Here's a funny. Not funny. It is a story of my before I lost the weight days, and I was just stuck in a pit. I had a brain fart just now because I kept seeing your little post pop up.
Oh,
What were we talking about just now?
Your friend. We're talking about friends.
I don't even know where I was going with that. Shoot.
We were on the trip. We were following you.
We were there. Oh, okay. I think I was going to talk about how I was a very depressed person.
Yeah, that's where you're going. You were in a real funk. Yeah.
I was. It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone for good. Oh my gosh, too funny.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
It was a
See
good
why
one too.
our studio recordings are so much different. We don't have any fun in the studio. We've got
Oh,
a good one we're going to record this week, I think.
yeah.
So
Yeah. We'll see.
we will see.
One does not have a brain fart. It literally left me.
Oh, it happens to me every day. Happens to me
Man.
every day.
You're talking about
Oh.
before I
Vonda
chose.
says if you had leftovers, don't eat them the day after. Eat them on day 2.
It's
That is a
true.
good idea. Very good
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna rewatch this, and then I'm gonna be
And
like,
you're going to
"That's
post it.
where
You're going to let us know.
that is where you were headed with that."
Yeah.
About before, I would think I was talking about my emotions too,
Mhm.
and how I was stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
Felt like there was no hope.
Yeah.
I'm
It'll
trying
come
to-
to you in the middle of the night.
No,
It's okay.
I'm trying to
It's
refeed
okay.
that back.
All right,
Oh, I
guys,
guess it wasn't
let us
important.
know. Let us know if you have any questions, if you have any issues. Coach Darcy has immediate openings. My schedule is completely full until April 16th. So right now I have a waiting list to get on my coaching schedule. Coach Darcy's got some immediate openings. We are happy to walk you through. Head over to our Facebook page.
I was gonna say that too.
Check out Tina's journey.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'd be happy to tell you about her journey. She has been just probably one of the most steady clients that we've had. Just
Yeah.
whatever you say, coach. And it just has come off slow but surely. And now we're starting to see, I love it when we can do mid pictures because that's just like the shot in the arm that you need,
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you could see such a difference. So
I do want to. This is not what I was going to say because I still
Okay.
don't remember. But I was just thinking about, when it comes to health coaches and what we do, I think of a story that I was watching about Jelly Roll. You know who Jelly Roll is?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so Jelly Roll has joined this program of this other health coach that I follow. That he does great things. Has very similar like-minded ways. I don't know what his program does, but Jelly Roll joined in with this guy, and Jelly Roll lost 30 pounds, and just the joy that was coming out of this man's mouth with losing 30 pounds. I'm sure it's been a lot more since then. It just goes to show, like, people that think that they are happy and healthy with the weight on, and are okay with that.
Yeah.
When they start to get that weight off, they see how much they were actually being held back.
Yeah.
And that with that joy and hope.
Yeah. It's a chemical thing. There's something that happens in your brain.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I wish I knew what it was. But it's something. It's life transforming.
The point of that was just like, don't lose hope. There, even the people. I mean, I just thought it was such an inspiring story from somebody who's in the sight of millions and millions of people, and seeing that, just the weight loss and eating healthy and making healthier choices is just so inspirational.
Oh, it is.
Be like that. You know, don't let anything hold you back.
Yeah.
At all. Even if
now's
it's
the
fame,
time.
Fortune, I don't know. Yeah, now's the time to do it.
Now is the time to do it. And we're living proof that you can do it. You can do it naturally. We are a drug-free company. We believe in natural weight loss because we want you to keep it off. We do not want that weight coming back. We've done too many diets. Anybody can lose 100 pounds. It's easy to do these days. It's just easy to do these days. The hard part is when you keep it off. And so that's where we come in and we're like, time to keep it off. You don't want to go back there. We want to fire our clients.
And those memories from our past revisit us because of, so we can keep going and knowing that we're not going backwards. I don't want to live that depressed self that I was.
No.
Lonely. Oh, I remembered what it was.
Okay, hurry.
Now. Remember, I was just talking about when I was in that phase of my life. I was becoming very introverted. I was starting to become a recluse. And I'm realizing that was a lot about like with depression and all those other things that start to happen mentally. And you know what I did? I said, you are an extrovert. You are not turning into an introvert. This is not who you are. And if you are an introvert, there's hope for you to be an extrovert. Maybe not. But anyway, like now I can relate on the both sides. I'm more of an ambivert. But because I took hold of my health and my mental health, I stopped that from happening because I did not want to be lonely. I did not want to be away from people. That's where I knew that really I just need people to have joy and they're not my reason for joy, but like,
right.
That was all I wanted to say.
That's great. That's a great thing because I did the same thing. I became an introvert, and I still probably am. I still love to stay home now. But I go out too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right, guys, we are here every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go check out our podcast. Go check out our website, kmhealthcoaching.org. If you are struggling, go find your coach. We recommend that you set up a free health assessment first before you just sign up for a program because we want you in the right one. We have so many different kinds. Tina started out in our hormone feeding portion, and she started there, and she took that and ran with it. So, but that one does require an interview before you can be accepted into that one. But if you want to get on my website, you can. If you want to get on my waiting list, you are welcome to do that. But if you are ready to start today, Coach Darcy is ready. Yep. I think she's got some appointments.
People
this
are
afternoon.
filling in though; they're filing in. So
yeah, it's a great time.
It is.
This is just a great time to get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And people watch their friends who are on the shot. They watch them and they're like, "That's not for me." But I need to know how to do it right.
Right.
So we're here for you. All right. We will see you next Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. And we'll see if we can get the right outro going.
I'm going to take my ears out.
I have so many different choices and they don't let me label it. Like if you just label it intro, that'd be great.
Right.
But we may get an intro when we leave. We don't know.
We might. We
may get a commercial because we didn't even do a commercial today.
We didn't.
You did not. Actually, let's end there because we got a bunch of free stuff.
Okay.
All right. Let's end
there.
All
right. Toodaloo.
All right, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday. Hey, it's Coach Monica here. Guess what? If you're fed up with feeling stuck in your battle with weight or food, I've got something just for you. Check out our free Facebook groups. Over at Food Addiction and Recovery, I'm over there waiting for you. We're going to walk this journey together. It's about getting real, sharing our stories, and lifting each other up. We're in this together every step of the way. And if you're curious about changing your life with keto, the Weight Loss Project is where you want to be. Coach Darcy is amazing. And together, we're not just talking about losing weight. We're talking about finding a happier, healthier you. So, what do you say? Are you ready to join us? The links are in the show notes below, and I'm telling you, this is more than an invite. It is the start of something great. We cannot wait to see you over there.